In this video tutorial, we are going to look at how a student would view their grades in their gradebook. So here we are on the grades page, and as you can see, the submissions that have been sent by the student are listed here. So under lesson 1, this assignment was worth 4 points. There is an assessment tool, which is the rubric. It shows the letter grade that the student attained, their score, the percentage, and a teacher's comment for that particular assignment. If a student clicks on the submit link over here, if they click on that, they will be taken to their original assignment that they've submitted, so they'll be able to view what they sent into the teacher. Over here under the assessment tool, this is what is important for the student to access to see where they did well and where they did not do so well, as well as any comments from the teacher. So we will take a look at this rubric for example. Okay, so on the rubric, one is able to see the class, the coursework, which particular coursework it was, when it was submitted, and the grade. So here the student scored a 3.8 out of 4. It's an A, and they got a 95%, and the teacher's comment is listed as well. So looking at this rubric here, under each criteria, the points which the student earns is highlighted in the dark blue here. So under section 1, or this section here, assignment completion, the student scored a 3 out of 4. And under accuracy, legibility, following instructions, and level of originality, they scored perfect score in each of those criteria. So I just want to look at a rubric by from a student who had some comments on the rubric. So in this example here, the student scored a 2.8 out of 4, which is a 70%, and the teacher's comment here is good work and there's room for improvement. So looking at each section here, under assignment completion criteria, they scored a perfect score, which is 4. Under accuracy, they scored a 3 because they only completed 3/4 of the assignment correctly. So there is a note here to the student to let them know what areas they did not do so well in. So this note states that overall it looks like you did not go through the notes and material covered in lesson 1. Some of your answers would have reflected some points that were covered under lesson 1. Please revisit question 7 of the assignment, as you may not have understood the question well. So this basically shows the student where they failed in this particular section and what they need to do to improve under this criteria. Under this section of legibility, the note states that according to the instructions, this was to be a handwritten assignment, thus the lowest score for this criteria. So the student may have submitted their assignment as a typed document rather than a handwritten document, and that's why they lost points in this section. And then so on and so forth, they will be scored accordingly in each section. Now below the rubric, there's a section here for the student to send a message directly to the teacher. So the student might not be clear on the note that the teacher has posted, or they might have a question on how they were scored or the grade that they received. So they can send a message to the teacher for more clarification or submitting a comment. And anything that is submitted through this page, through the grades page, relating to a particular assignment or a particular grade, there will be a discussion thread posted here. So for example here, there is a note by the teacher to the student, thanking the student for the submission, and stating that it has been submitted, and whatever else the teacher does need to communicate. Any responses that the student sends will be listed on here. So everything on this thread will be directly related to this particular assessment, this particular assignment, and this particular grade. All right, so that basically covers the main parts of the gradebook. Just note that a student is able to also send a message to the teacher through these functions here, this envelope, or up below, up above here. Okay, another thing I would like to point out is this total here. This mark does not reflect an accurate average for the student, and the reason that is the case is that Rcampus will calculate this mark based on the total points that are possible. So points could be assigned to specific assignments. However, those assignments may be yet in the future, and the student has not completed or submitted them. So if a teacher is posting coursework, far ahead in advance, and that coursework has points related to it, it will show up here. Now, Rcampus will base this calculation on the total points that are listed here. So in this example here, the 7.8 comes from these two assignments that have been graded. However, 3 assignments have been posted with points in it. So it's calculating basically 2 out of the 3 assignments, and thus the 65%. So it's not an accurate reflection of the total of the average for the student. So these would be the marks that the student would be looking at more closely. So the next thing we would like to go into is the shared documents. This is a section where students or the teacher can share any document, video, or additional material that is useful to the students in general. It's not necessarily a part of the coursework, but it's additional or supplemental material that someone feels could be of benefit to someone in the class. So an example is, study tips, just like we see here, e-learning skills and strategies. That's something that is general. It's not necessarily a part of this English course directly. However, though, it has some things that students could benefit from. How to take great notes. Again, that's something that is beneficial to students, and so on. In this example, we have a group project. So this is something that a group of students would be working on. They're not submitting this for as a final coursework in the end, but they're just using this document to work on together as they put something together for their final submission. So this is where such information would be posted. Now, to distinguish between documents that are posted by you, the student, and other people, under this section here, it will show the name in a regular font, and as well as a bold font here. So the regular fonts show any documents that were posted by someone else, or other classmates, or it could be the teacher. Any documents that you have personally added here will highlight your name in bold. So if we look under this arrow here, documents posted by someone else, you only have the option to view it. You cannot edit or change the options for viewing, so you can only view it. Documents that are posted by yourself, you have more options. You can view the document, you can edit it, you can modify the sharing permissions, as well as remove it from the shared documents page. So that's the difference. To access the documents, just simply click on the link there, or you click on this arrow and click on the view document. And to add documents, you simply click on the add document function, and you are able to attach whatever it is that needs to be added on here. Okay, last but not least, on this page we're going to look at the calendar, which is a very important tool for students. This will show any upcoming assignments and their due dates. So in this case, this student's account indicates that they have 2 courses. You see the English and the collab partner training. So you can see here collab partner training and English. So under any student's account, they would be able to see all the courses that they are enrolled in, and it will show what is due in each course and on what date. So this student here has something due, or had something due, on October 17th. So by simply clicking on here, the student will be taken to that particular lesson. So we're just going to click there, and so lesson 1 will take the student to the material posted under lesson 1 and the stuff that they need to hand in. Okay, same goes for everything else. So it's quite straightforward, and this will show for the entire month, and if there is any information posted for future months, they're able to look into other months as well. The calendar can be viewed in a daily format, weekly format, monthly, and so on. Alright, so that covers the all the main pages concerning the navigation of the key areas in Rcampus. So the next thing that we are going to talk about is how to write quizzes. So that is something that is very important for students to know, how to access a quiz and the details that are involved in facilitating the process of completing a quiz. So we are going to look at the notes here for that. So under the coursework page, so we will just look at this here. Under the coursework page, under the type of coursework, it will show that it's an exam or a quiz or an assignment that has been posted through the quiz function. So a student will be able to identify whether they have to use a quiz by simply looking at the type. It will show the actual lesson, the due date. Now submit here is normally for assignments, so student would not go to the submit button to write their quiz. It will show as illustrated on this diagram here. So once they click on the lesson or on the coursework here, it will take them to this page, which provides the description of what the lesson contains. So in normal circumstances, they'll have a description here of the coursework that has been posted or instructions. In this case here, it will be a description of the test that a student is going to do. So in this example, it says in this lesson you will be writing the Unit 1 test. It covers all material covered to date and consists of 10 multiple choice questions, 3 true and false questions, 2 short answer questions. So the teacher has given the format of the quiz, how many questions there are. So a student is able to know beforehand how many questions they're doing and the type of questions that they're going to be doing. It also states here you only have 1 hour to complete the test. The quiz function does have a timing tool that will time the student during the time that they're writing their exam. Now, to actually take the test or the quiz, the function is listed here. So they would click on this link and that would take them straight to the quiz page. And that is indicated here. So the first page will basically show a box giving a general outline of the number of questions in the quiz, how long the quiz is, and the possible points. And then the student would click on start. Once they click on start, then they would basically, the timer would start ticking. So in this case here, the timer is shown to the right. This exam was set for 1 hour, and by the time the student clicked start and the time that this recording was done, 12 seconds had elapsed. So basically it will show how much time is left as the student goes through the exam or the test. To the left here, it shows which question the student is viewing. So in this case, question 1 out of 6 is what the student is on, and it shows the number of points if it has been indicated. So sometimes the points will not be indicated. At times the points will be indicated. And below here, as you can see, 1 through 6 is shown here. Students can jump from one question to another. They don't necessarily have to go in sequence, or they can go to the next question in sequence by clicking on next here. It will show which questions have been completed through a highlighted sign or symbol. Once the student has gone through all the questions, then they would simply click on this link here stating I'm done, submit and exit. So sometimes students do click on this by mistake. If that happens, there's always a dialog box that pops up and it asks the students, are you sure you are completely done with this quiz? If you're sure, then you click on OK. If not, then you would cancel and continue with the quiz until you finish it. In this case here, we can see that question 6 of 6 has been answered, and here it took 2 minutes 17 seconds to complete those 6 questions. Now at the end of the quiz, please note that the score may say 0 points. This will be updated once the teacher has graded and recorded the results. The reason for this is that if a test has, as I showed above here, if a test has true and false questions as well as 2 short answer questions, it's difficult to for the system to grade these type of questions, whereas in multiple choice questions it's quite easy. It's an A, B, and C and D option, and if the student gets it correct, they get the right one, and the points can be determined for multiple choice questions. But if it's a mixed test and it has short answer questions or true and false questions, then the score will have to be input by the teacher. So in that case, the grade will not be, the final score will not be posted. The teacher will post that after they've actually looked through the exam and scored the essay type questions or short answer questions. Okay, once completed, student would click OK, and they're finished with their exam. To be able to view the completed quiz and see how the student has actually scored and see if they've gotten their questions right or wrong, they would go back to their coursework page, and in the same area as it shows their submitted assignments, so over here it will show here completed quiz on October 29th, for example, they simply click on that link and that will show them a copy of their quiz that has already been scored, especially the multiple choice section. So here's an example. Um, in this example, the student got question 1 correct, and it shows here the legend. If it's incorrect, it will be a red X, and if a question was not answered, it would show a red circle with a white X in it. So basically, that covers the function of taking a quiz in Rcampus. The last thing that I'd like to share is some of the shortcuts that are available in Rcampus. And I will just point out some of those sections. So, for example, if we look at the top of the page here, I'm just trying to get this to show. Alright, so I'll just use the go through this one here. So on each page there is a help on this page link. So if for some reason you don't know what to do or where to go to do a specific task, then you can click on this help on this page and it will basically show or guide you through the different sections of this page and how you would navigate the page. So for example, here we are in the gradebook, and method 1 is basically shows there are 2 ways to check your grades. So method 1, it gives the instructions here. Method 2, it gives the instructions here, as well as other parts of that. So that link is available on all the pages. So if we go to the main page here, for example, okay, we go on class discussions, you'll see the link is here as well, and in all the other pages it will be there. At the top of the page there are icons at the very top. Those icons, if you click on it, you'll have a box that comes up with different options. So here you'll be able to see a list of areas that you can go into in Rcampus to do specific tasks. So for example, at a glance, if you click on at a glance, it takes you to a page where you're able to see any unread messages. So this is the same page that will pop up immediately after you log in. So you see all the unread messages, you see all the upcoming coursework. So in this case here, the student has three courseworks that are upcoming, and it shows the date and the option here for submitting, as well as any rubrics that are relevant to the coursework. And below it shows my classes. So in this case, we would select the right term. We're in 2014. Let's see here. 2014, 2015. Okay, the student is enrolled in an English course. If he or she was enrolled in other courses, it would show here. And if he or she was in any group, it would show under here. So that gives you basically a look at the account at a glance. Okay, other options here, you're able to view your account and profile, student website. A student is able to build their own websites through this function. Messages can be accessed through here. Any documents that a student has posted on Rcampus, or if they wish to add more documents, they can click on there, the calendar, and so forth. There's a number that appears at the top of the page, just to the left of the logout button. That number refers to any new messages that have not been read. So by simply clicking on that number, one is able to view any new messages that they have in their account. So in this case here, there are 125 messages. Obviously, all those messages will not be shown on the first page. So here is where a student can go to messages either that are before this page or after it. Or they can click on here, and here it indicates that there are 7 pages of messages. So a student can go to any page and access the messages on there, and they can use the arrows to navigate through those pages. So that covers the Rcampus tutorial. I hope that these videos have been helpful in basically showing all the different areas that are important for students to navigate through. And if there are any questions or anything that is not clear, then just send an email, or click on this help link, and hopefully the question would be answered. Thank you.